You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this week's episode, we are covering the anime that aired the week of the 1st of February to the 7th of February 2021. You're right, Niall. It's great.
Isn't great? It's fantastic. If only everyone could be like this. Stupid lunar cycle.
Properly distributed month. And we're going to start this week with Pui Pui Molcar, episode 5, Pui Pui Racing, in which our heroes are in a race to determine who is the fastest Pui Pui Molcar.
This one did make me laugh several times. I love all the Mario Kart references and shit. And just that it's like, and getting to see one of those things fucking crash is really fun as well.
Spin out.
It is, I don't know all their names still. There's Potato, I think there's Shiramo, there's Teddy. I don't know who the other two are. The one with there's the
which one is this week's one with the riser on it? I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, the one who looks like it's got a quiff. I don't know her name, and I don't know the one with the flowers behind its ears names.
Oh yeah, very cute. Oh, we make clear in time. I should know that they're very adorable and they're very competitive.
They are, yeah. One of them has been equipped with rocket boosters, which do not work at the beginning, so there's only 4 of them leave the starting line to begin with. And then, yes, they run into various problems. One crashes into a sign. There's like power-ups, like invincibility
spinning
carrots.
Yeah, that's great.
There's hazards.
Yeah.
There's cool jumps that they have to do, which they're very nervous about doing because they are guinea pigs.
Yeah.
More like lemming.
Podcast listeners don't care about this.
Yeah.
So, what we've got is... Yeah, I was like, oh, she's a goddess. I was looking at all the references, but the subtitles refer to them with male pronouns, so I don't know whether that is a accident or not.
You'll find this a lot in Egyptian mythology and kind of a lot of mythology as well, where they can go between being this is this god's sister / daughter / wife. It depends on who's the pharaoh at the time, essentially.
Yeah, how the text gets interpreted or reinterpreted. Yeah.
Yes. So when someone stalked by it, they think, oh, I need like a rabbit god with its bit, or a hare god. Here we go. This one will do. But then they read up pretty closely into other aspects of it, so you can't think. No, they probably done the research fairly well ahead of time. So,
but the gag here is that they appear to be sleeping all day when they're busy. The rest of them are busy, in the paddy fields, planting crops, but then they go home and they wake up and they take a look around and they go, what terrible work they've done. And they redo all the work that the other gods had done during the day in the paddy fields and
plant all the stuff, summon the rain clouds to keep it growing, make it grow to a farcical extent. So when the lads come back the next day, they're like, wow, what a good job we did. I guess we're going to eat lots of rice tonight. And it's like, I can't believe he's still asleep. But the only one who's figured it out is the smart god.
Yes.
Yes. Wynette is very sleepy, but also very gracious and generous.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find, was there a particular story that referred to that, where they did it all in one night? But I guess that's more like a Christmas Carol, or those gnomes who make shoes for you. So
it could be a variation on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then in the second half is basically the kids are all playing on the swings, and then Dad shows up and wants to show off how great he used to be swinging on swings.
I like that part of the joke. I also like the thing I was like, hey, only Egyptian gods are allowed to jump off the swing. Don't you be doing this at home, kids. Good stuff. I mean, they did literally show a guy get injured doing it, so it's probably like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, the main god of the Egyptian pantheon injured himself.
Dear.
Well, that happens as well. Is like I think it's one of the unusual cases where we have Ra actually does age and become like a kind of nonsensical, like senile old dude, and he needs to be reminded of who he actually is. So we were trying to have a riff on that, perhaps.
Oh, I've only just got one of the jokes as well of
What's it?
Bastet being the best at it.
Because it's a cat?
Yeah, because it's a cat, yes.
Yeah.
It did not hit me at the time when I was watching it. Only just
I was like,
hit
yeah,
me
the
there.
cat would land on the feet. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Then after that we've got Dr. Stone, Stone Wars, episode 4, Full Assault. In which it's again story of 2 parts. It's Chrome saving Magma by getting himself captured, and then it is Senku figuring out, well, we've got to go and rescue Chrome, so we're going to have to build a car.
Yeah,
I do the way Uyo like compliments Chrome, going like, okay, so you figured it out, like, because Chrome was like, wait a minute, he hasn't killed us, he's just kind of herding us around. It's like he's trying to catch us alive. So if I turn myself in, he'll have to take me in and can't take both of us in. So that'll allow Magma to get away. And Magma was just kind of like, go get killed, Chrome, so I can beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, it's like he's very kind of duplicitous, it seems, because he's even trying, as he has Chrome leading out of the way, it's like, trying to act like your best bud, and like Chrome was going, hey, not gonna fall for that. He's just trying to get info out of me, but trying to be my best bud, not gonna fall for it.
And the lads later on going, it's like, as long as Chrome keeps his mouth shut, he'll be fine.
Yes.
When Magma comes back and it's like, yeah, but it's Chrome, says Kagu, and they're all like, oh shit, we're in a lot of trouble.
I love those like very few instances where this is like this kind of wild card factor that Senku didn't account for, and it's just like you can see it wash over him, and his face just turned into stone.
Everyone's face makes that face in this episode related to Chrome, which is really funny as well. Like you have the other guys at Tsukasu's army kind of going like, seriously, this fucking guy. It's nice.
It is. I do like the bit where Kohaku says it twice, and then they go, she said it twice. Ginro goes, she said it twice. I think partly because he's happy that she's telling Chrome off in his absence, as opposed to telling him off for a change.
Mm-hmm. Makes a nice change.
The most interesting part character-wise is the Chrome stuff and the Ukyo stuff. As I was watching it, I was like, this may be the most interesting Ukyo is in the series.
Yeah, but it makes you kind of think now as well, where we currently are in the comic, and you've made Low up before that, he's kind of like, not, he's kind of fading into the background a bit. But we're being reminded right now, he is being very duplicitous. So
he's being duplicitous. He's being good at warfare things, which might come in fucking handy. Yeah.
Because just saying, okay, well, why would they send this dude around? He's some kind of like junior science brigade dude to do reconnaissance. Doesn't make any sense. He must have like planted something around. Do you see anything, Ukyo? Oh yeah, it's nothing like that. He's trying to like get a bead and where like the miracle fluid cave is. Plausible explanation. But he fucking knows that the phone is buried in the thing. He's like, huh? And then Chrome is kind of like, what's this dude up to exactly?
What's his angle? And it's nice as well, like people having different, going for different things even within Tsukasu's army. They have their own desires and stuff. I mean, like, they keep mentioning that not everyone is under Tsukasu's beck and call. They're just kind of aligned in the same direction right now. Yeah,
and it's also you're looking in the wrong direction at the wrong guy who's going to flip as well. But more on that in future episodes.
Yeah, that was the thing I was appreciating as well. Essentially, this is my reread is watching this. I was like, I also like Ukyo more now I've got a voice for him.
Yeah, like the worst thing as a character, like you say, he doesn't do much, but he's there mostly as the straight man with all the other crazies around him and weirdos.
Yes.
He's the most normal. The guy with the superhuman hearing is the most normal guy.
It worked on a sub. I was also like, how would Tsukasa know that guy worked on a sub? I guess he might have just found him in a submarine, but I don't know.
Maybe Tsukasa, because he was really smart. Like he has other people where he hasn't just picked out. He's obviously picked out a bunch of dudes. Like that's a buff guy, that's a buff girl. Yeah, we'll put a number on them. But he has picked out a bunch of people who's like, she's a famous reporter, and it's like, so like famous people. It's like, well, he knew your man Gen was that like a really good talkie guy because they're on the same talk show. So maybe he knew.
Maybe just knew him.
This submarine guy. This is the world's youngest submarine sonar operator, and they were on like a talk show together. And he's like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, we've not got to him yet, but I can't remember his reasoning for bringing that cop. Because it's very much feels like at this point in the story in the comic, it's like the idea of which cop shall I turn back from stone? I know, I'll turn back the cop whose eyes join in the middle from Tensai back upon.
I mean, I guess Tsukasa's capable of making mistakes, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe this, this is the kind of cop who doesn't play by the book, but damn, he doesn't get results.
Also, he's probably young enough. One of Tsukasa's general things, yeah.
Yeah, Tsukasa's like, oh, Chrome. I did like how Chrome's like trying to bring Tsukasa around to the idea of science is basically like your first chemistry lesson at school. You can make different coloured flames.
It's like, yeah, Pat, I know. I'm from the year 2000. I know all about that shit. I'm not against science.
I should have opened with ramen. Fuck.
Yeah.
I fucked it up.
I'm not against science. I just want to, just purify the world. I don't want to spoil this paradise for us youths.
I don't want the elites to use scientific advancement in order to keep their positions. If you join us and give us Senku's head, you can do as many fire experiments as you like, and I won't kill your entire village. So, win-win. Because he thinks this guy is a fucking idiot, basically. Which is.
And Chrome, to his credit, is like, I'm not going to give him up. You're going to have to go ahead and kill me. All right.
Throw him off the cliff. And he was just kind of testing his will, and he's like, no, this guy's got balls. I guess we can't fucking interrogate him, but do save his life.
That was a good cut to him immediately being dangled off a waterfall. Not my favourite cut this week. I think this in Kemono Jihen is my favourite cut, but we'll get to that later. Good episode. I like the little bit at the end where we get them all in their Industrial Revolution costumes as they.
Oh my god! One of those things where it's just like, hey, let's dress the cast up. I fucking love those bits. They're good, Craig.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, I did like the bit of the start of this with Nikki, and she starts to do her whole like, I ain't fucking going for this. I'm fucking taking charge right now. Which is nice, like, and in the business meeting across from the lads, but still over the telephone. Yeah,
and her playful jabs in his arm, which look.
I like that about you. Fuck you. Oh dear.
Then we got Heaven's Design Team, episode 5, Idea 5, in which Ueda has been sent to hell, but only on a business trip.
I really should have made that more clear.
You got populate the underworld with horrible monsters to guard the gates, but someone's got to design them. And they sent their dude up to liaise with the design team, and he's the best client they're ever going to get, because it's like, okay, God, there's a big idea. Do whatever you want with it. It's fucking anything you can give me for this week. Bam, bam. I'm all for it. Sounds good. Sounds great fun. This guy is just so conducive to the process. He's a dream client. Too bad his animals are going to be made up and only going to be seen in hell. But oh well. That's a fun while he's here.
There was a bunch of things I loved about that, because he has a really badly childlike fucking drawing of the creature he wants to guard the gates of hell, the mascot of hell, and he's giving him this information. He's like, sorry, this is probably too much, and they're just like, this is fucking great, because they're saying he's like, if it's huge, like gravity's going to be an issue, and then we're going to need to do this thing. He's like, no, it's fine. We can control gravity. We have like flames erupting. So it's like, I guess, like an architect designing for a video game. It's just like, wait, so I don't need to fucking follow the rules of like the world? Because we're building fantasy over here. We run different rules.
Physics engine. Just like, oh my goodness.
And even I was worried that him sitting there was going to be like the designer fucking going like, actually, could you do that? Could you do that? But no, he leaves them fucking to it. Great fucking client.
Yes. What he wants
is wonderful as it happens.
Is a mascot for the amusement park they're building that will greet the souls as they enter the amusement park.
See, I mean, like on Earth, you get to experience, earthly fucking things, but this will get you experience like fear and pain and adventure, and it's just like, okay, buddy.
Okay, well, we can make animals and stuff. We can just the gravity and stuff. But what about food? Oh, it's okay. Like, no, it'll be inside him out. That's going to be one of the actions. But on the outside, it's all a forest of stuff. We can grow all the food we need there. But I'm saying, this dude is like he looks really kind of scary and kind of intense. Got a weird costume going on.
He looks like
he's actually quite nice.
He looks like he's supposed to be like your the Chuny type.
Exactly.
Dress up.
Too much going on.
We get the punchline is that the people who have to work in hell, they have to design themselves a dark side costume, but then they can never change it for all the time.
Yeah, because they're all like, "Oh, he seems so nice," but even though he dresses so weird, it's like, no, he has to dress like that. He picked a creepy costume, and now he's stuck with that creepy costume as his uniform.
It's sort of like when you get killed and your ghost is wearing the clothes you died in. So make sure you always dress properly in case you get killed suddenly.
Yeah.
So that's what they find the most horrifying thing about hell is that reveal at the end. But yes, they're divided into two teams and they're going to decide this three-headed mascot. The first team,
that was the only stipulation on the thing. It's like it's a thing with like 3 mouths, sharp teeth.
Yeah,
creepy.
We get a three-headed wolf. And then I love that they start applying all the logistics they apply to the real-world animals to these fantasy animals as well. Of like they bring it out and it immediately falls over because all its heads are trying to move in different directions at once.
And they're questioning whether, like, could we put the brain in the center of the body so the heads are just like arms? And your man's like, no, I want them all to be good boys. I want to give them all a pat on the head.
Ah, of course. Okay, we got one lead head. He'd be like in charge of direction. Then we got two guys subsidiary heads. Okay, let's try feeding them. But the lead head is getting all the food. The other guys can't reach. Okay, we gotta work that out.
So I mean, like, if we do feed all the individual heads, it will get very fat because the guys like, and I love the fact they never go into the thing. It's like, obviously the guy who designed horses designed wolves because he's all about the look, the aesthetic. But yeah, if you keep feeding all the heads, then it'll just get really fat because wolves don't know when to stop eating until they get full. So it's like that'll end up with like a really fat thing, and your man's like, that's still a kind of a good mascot, but it's less creepy if you get a big spherical Cerberus.
Give it a hobby. Give it a hobby so it isn't just eating.
Yeah,
and the way the design teams as well, I did appreciate that each of the 3 guys on each team, it's clear they're bringing their own design sensibility to the thing they're doing. That was so nice.
I love the bits when Yokota, who's the guy from Hell, is describing how he wants to pet all 3 good boys. You've got Neptune in the background agreeing with him silently.
How about music? Music is suit savage beasts. Let's give them some music to listen to and see what they're into. And I just love we got them all, got the headphones on, they got the cans, and it's just like this wolf going like.
The fact that they're all nodding to like a different beat like amused me to no fucking end. And then they all have different musical tastes, so they split up the band despite being the same fucking animal. The team A is looking pretty bad, so team B swoops in for the kill with their flying crocodile.
Yeah, well, three-headed monster with a crocodile design, got like plenty of teeth on there. Gravity's an issue for just what a mask and all that, so it can just fly around and hell. It's pretty fearsome. It's pretty good. There's some issues that the three-headed wolf has. What do you say? Which one are you going to go for?
I did like.
Take them both.
Yeah, he takes them both. Like it pays double as well. Like it's such a good client, such a great client. But your man with the iPhone looking motherfucker was just like, oh yeah, it's cold blooded. So that way, if you want to shut down the theme park for repairs or whatever, you can just turn off the fires of hell for a little bit, and it'll just go into hibernation. So whereas the wolf, you got to keep feeding that fucking thing if you want to keep it alive. Just like real fun design sensibility things. Oh, he also wants to buy the design for the Death's Head moth that that the insect team were working on that our angel kind of came back with from hell.
Yes, because for the merchandising from hell.
We'll put it on t-shirts. Oh, that's great. That's a good look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've done 2 sales and like a t-shirt design sale. I mean, like they're doing really well out of this. I don't know if they get paid, to be fair, but I mean, still,
whenever they get paid in, they're getting a lot of it this week.
Yes.
And this was just kind of fun. I find it's fun as well, for the writer of the comic as well. Yeah, animals are weird, but what the hell was going on? What was someone thinking when they came up with the manticore or some shit like that? And how would that work exactly? This is like a fun little thought process to do.
It is, but yeah, it still sneaks in the educational stuff about the wolves not knowing when to stop eating, crocodiles leaving their mouths open.
And the fact that they're actually really good parents and all
very
this stuff.
Social, yeah.
And then, as good as that was, then we get a great bit in the second half as well, as we're all going into the canteen to everyone's bringing their packed lunches, and of course it's Saturn shows up with his, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be animals, because it's so much bigger than everybody else is.
It's basically bigger than a picnic basket. He's brought a bunch of live animals to eat for lunch.
And then he sat across from Neptune, who's brought his latest creation along to eat with him.
Yeah, we were initially wondering, he's like, why does he have 2 lunches? It's like, one for him and one for the animal that's bad at swimming.
Animal's bad at swimming, yeah.
that got fucked up for him. And like, this is like evolutionary biology is going like, yeah, fucking doesn't need to be good to swim to live in the sea, I guess.
Life finds a way, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Well, it literally does in this, because most of the innovations, the otter seems to make itself.
Yeah. They're all like, okay, that's cute, that's staying in. By accident.
Well, it gets into like the basket of seafood broth, but saying, no, he's not supposed to eat that. It's designed for it. But saying, he's in there now, he's loving it. I see this animal's got good taste. And Saturn's all for it. But yes, he's got to get it in the design process, but then have it then in the testing tank. And it's like, then Saturn's going, I don't know if we should be doing that. No, look at it. It's so cute. Because when it's trying to float in the water, it's going to put his hands up. That doesn't get too cold. That's so adorable. Keeping it in. That doesn't make any sense. So, no, it's cute. Staying in. It's made a little blanket with kelp. Also, it won't float away.
What if it's living in a colder climate without kelp? They hold hands.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
That's so adorable. It's going in. Okay. Is that the best design philosophy, though? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's fucking marketable as all get out. We gotta go with this.
How's it going to hold on to stuff? Like, we'll give it pockets. I'm putting pockets on it. That is a design innovation.
It's like, you should give it claws. You should give it really big claws. But you're right. That was the good comic thing of like, at the start, he's trying to turn the otter into him, and then it gets away from what he wants it to be, and it gets back
your man
to
just constantly feeding him his seafood lunch, and it's just like, stop it! You're going to get it addicted to seafood. It's going to want to live in the sea.
Broken out his teeth on the hard shells. Oh, what are we going to do about this? Look what he's doing. He's getting a little rock and he's making it open. He's showing the rock. He can deep that by himself. That's so cute. We got to keep that in. That's staying in. I don't care how impractical it's staying in.
Also, your man's lunch gets approved when he upscales a shrimp and is like, that's a lobster now. Go for it.
Yeah. To the point where I was like, is this a John Hodgman reference? Because in his areas of expertise, he's got a bit about how sea otters were the original lobsters.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Coulton wrote a song to go with it called
Furry Lobster and Me.
Yes. And I was like, is that why both these things are in this scene?
That's confusing because there is a furry lobster.
There is, yes.
It's even more confusing.
Do you want to run the Holy Union?
Because it's singing about like the furry lobster, the otter, and then this really horrible furry lobster, like a beast, a monster, which is the lobster. Yeah.
The drawing of the otter is, apart from one shot, it totally works as adorable. There's one bit where he's moving across the table where it suddenly whoever was animating that bit didn't quite know how to animate an otter making that movement.
Was it the one like where it's walking on 2 legs kind of thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
loses its shape a bit. But in general, yes, it is sufficiently cute for the reactions that he's getting.
No bono though.
He's no bono. That is true.
What is though? I mean, like about the only thing about a regular otter, like they use in the pictures, explaining the real life animal, is less cute. Not less cute, but not in the design as much. Is it otters tend to have big old mustaches, which are cute on an otter, which is bizarre on anything else.
It's like a little Wilford Brimley is floating around, and there's an even tinier one.
Baby one.
So cute. The little baby's floating around. That's why they won't get cold. And the mother otter will fluff up the baby. And it's like, no, that's why they do doing this because got to keep their fur fluffed up so they don't sink. It's just like, oh, just give yourself a little massage with its face. It's so adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the fact that Neptune and Shimoda are having to steel themselves for seeing this picture. Are you ready to look at the picture?
It's very cute. I warn you. Yeah, I'm ready.
We'll now show you the cutie picture. Okay, a government sign off on this before we can show it.
Again, like the amount like that they've well considered the characters, where we have our guy who's the glutton who's constantly wanting to eat the animals he designs, and his fucking gluttony gets rubbed off on the otter. The otter needs to eat a shit ton of food in order to keep its body heat up, and I was just like, oh my god, that's brilliant. Again, not really intelligent design, just fucking just weirdness. Yeah.
This was definitely my favorite episode of the series so far.
It's been a good series, so yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a standout.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17, Kyoto Sister School Exchange Event Group Battle 3. Tell me all about it, because I didn't watch it.
It's putting the sister in sister school, all right. To get to the bottom of this rivalry, this enmity between Maki and Mai. Which Miwa is unfortunately on the receiving end of for a little bit, because this little thing was back in the school was like, Maki, she can't even use cursed energy. She used poor glasses to see curses.
She's weak as shit. What the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, oh, thank goodness. I won't have to fight anyone strong then.
And you're like, called stupid might. Nobody was fucking talking about. This girl's a fucking killer. She's going to kill me.
There was so, like, just, if it was just that fucking fight, I would have enjoyed the episode, because that fight was fucking gorgeous. There were so many, like, really nice uses of movement and kind of camera, and, like, setting up the thing of how her very limited range field works, and how she counters it by, like, getting rid of her reach by snapping her weapon off her knee. And I was like, oh my god, all of this is rad as shit.
It's just, she's like a fucking predator. It's especially, like, because I'm doing this in her forest, she's just going, just like, melting out of the trees, and she's got a fucking thing in her hand, and then she just pulls the absolute flex where she gets into close range combat. It's like little Aikido flip. It's like, oh, hey, that's sword you got here. Mind if I use it? Oh shit.
Would you believe that I like rewound and like fucking watched that scene like 4 more fucking times just to see that subtle hand thing where she takes the sword off, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful, so good.
All in the hips, man. And as you get plenty of, like, she has like the halberd in the first, she's just like fun, swinging it up around the neck.
Yeah.
It's some really good stuff. Other girls get like a good shot in as well, because you have Momo on the broomstick, and we got Kukisaki with the hammer, and they're squaring off, kind of mounting off each other.
And they're also like involved in the sisters fight. They're like a proxy for that, which is weird because they both support a different sister.
Yeah, because it's like Momo has been like up, is kind of go out of thing. Do you know like what Maya's had to go through? Because like Maki's whatever, she's been like to someone by the family, but Mai, she is for the Zenin clan, one of the 3 most prestigious families in the Jujutsu world, and it's not enough for, like, if you're a boy in the family, you probably just get to talk because you're strong. And if you're a girl, you gotta be cute. But you can't be enough to be cute. You also have to be cute and strong. So boys had to be strong. Girls had to be perfect. Can you imagine what she's gone through, and the way kind of she feels about Maki like that? And then, like, remember, like, I don't fucking care about that. I don't give a shit. Because I've met them both. And Maki is super sound, and I love her, and she's brilliant, and I go support her in all her endeavors. And it doesn't matter what family you're from. It doesn't matter like looking what the fun background is. That's just all just old style, old fashioned bullshit. You don't have to put up with it. And Maki is actually making a stand up against that, and that's why I'm going to support her in all her things. By the way, all those nails I've been flicking actually missing you with, they've all been landing in the trees. Curse technique, resonance, and then all the trees just explodes the entire tree line. Then
trees falling down and trying to hit her with a fucking whole ass tree off her witch broom, which was just like, that was rad. That was And again, and just the CG of her like flying around, fucking excellent stuff. Yeah.
they're able to kind of just like get up and grasp, just like, ooh, snatch. It's like, haha, you're too there on the ground. You can't catch me in the broomstick. I got all I need. Voodoo doll. Junk.
Put the straw from a broom in a straw voodoo doll.
Down.
Yeah. Grounds her.
It's like, no, okay, I can't move in. If you use my real hammer, I'll kill her. It's like, I used a backup. He's like, no, don't do it. What's doing? But cheap, squeaky toy hammer. This is for Mackie. Ka-chunk. And it's like a ka-chunk. It's supposed to go, but you get the repeat shot, repeat impact frame of going, boo, 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 boo.
I just need to hit you with the squeaky hammer one more time to take you out, but then she gets shot in the head. Don't worry, it was a rubber bullet, so that's okay.
So she's only lost her eye.
So that takes her out of the fight. Our witch girl would have lost, and your one's like, hey, thanks for helping out. You get back in the sky and be our eyes in the sky. We need you there. That kind of thing. So it does show the other sister actually being kind to her friends, which is nice.
Then the predator shows up again. He's just there. Hey, sis, what's going on?
And she's doing the thing of like just running between the trees and making like basically counting shots, because it's a 6-shooter, so you go like, okay, I just have to hit her once she shoots that 6th shot. And I was counting bullets as well as she was shooting, so I thought they set that up really well. And then we cut back to the boardroom where they explain how the shit is working. One of the curses talismans off the thing burns, so if it burns blue, it's the Kyoto school. If it burns red, it's the Tokyo school. And if it just burns from some other reason, we know it's Maki who did it. Or maybe the curse got hit by a car is the other suggestion, but it counts as her win. Because
I like how Ichiji is like explaining that he got the pointer, and then let's say a car hit it. And the car is gonna dodge the car coming in on the fucking presentation.
Yeah. Surprised by the things setting on fire and the examples he's using of curses getting killed. And they're kind of discussing. It's like, hey, I noticed the camera keeps fucking cutting on my boy Yuji, on my boy Yuji, and she's just like, oh, it's really hard to maintain the cameras on all these crows I'm controlling, and he's like, is it really?
Oh yeah, that is what's her face?
We actually.
I know it's Kotono Mitsubishi, who is the actor from Sailor Moon, and what's her name? Mei is the sorcerer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, I'm just here. What side are you on? The side which has the most money.
Side which I get paid.
What money isn't worth considering.
So that's her weird sorcerer thing, I guess.
Was there? Well, like no, I was going back to that fight. I was saying counting the shots. The real love, I suppose, some who part loves that kind of first person view of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. 6 bullets, you're done. Not quite. 7 bullets. Because I never share anything with you, Maki, my sister, who I hate, including my technique, which is construction. I can form matter out of nothing but cursed energy.
And it takes a lot of fucking energy, but she just needs 1 bullet.
1 shot's all I need. And it's flying through the air.
I got that with my bare hand. It's just like fucking
Maki.
It's just monstrous. It's cool as shit. And we kind of see it was alluded to earlier, but we kind of see the full extent of them growing up, because basically how it is in their clan is men become Jujutsu sorcerers, and women, like your one said, actually, if they even wanted to be sorcerers, they start on the bottom, so they need to be strong and beautiful or proper, or like go through the proper channels if they want to. Because whereas a man who starts off as a Jujutsu sorcerer might already have a level, you start at level 4, if at all. And since your one didn't even have any power, it was kind of like, you start at level fucking nothing. You don't even get a level. But it was the fact that her sister couldn't see the curses that creeped her out as a little girl. But would still go like, but just close your eyes and hold my hand and I'll walk you past that. It'll be grand. Yeah. It's like, I can't see it anyway. So it's like you closing your eyes. If you close your eyes, they're not even there. It's like, she's just crazy brave. She has no fucking fear with these things that she doesn't even see. And she could never live up to that.
And it's like, as long as you're here, sister, as long as you're here to kind of be one brave for me, we'll get on okay with this. But Maki can't have that. If I'm saying it's just like, there's no place for me in this family. I'm never going to climb the ladder in this, so I'm going to fuck off and do my own thing. I'm saying this how well we get introduced to now Beautiful Zen, who's the head of the family. Joji Nakata being another ornery old dude. It's like, no, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Yeah, so what? I'm going to come back here. I'm going to be the head of the family then when after you, old man. Let's see you try.
I'm going to make it as hard as possible for you. And she's just like, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But whatever you got to go through, Maya's got to go through it as well.
And she's like, she's got nothing to do with this. This is me. Like don't bring her into this, but not like going to stick around just to spare her either.
Yeah, that's kind of where the enemy is coming from. It's just like, sis, you say we're always going to fun and be together. We said you wouldn't leave me behind. You know, I can't be like you. I can't. I'm not as brave as you. But you know, you said we'd always be together. You know, and you guide me through it. Like, what was wrong with just, you know, just hanging around the house? You do a couple of chores. Otherwise, you live a quiet life. Why couldn't you just stay at the bottom with me? We could have
lived like normal people at the bottom, and you weren't just like I couldn't live with myself like that.
Yeah. So, it's a fun, tough one, you know, and in a way it kind of shows as well that like Maki is, you know, she has integrity and she has respect for
herself,
with similar integrity and for herself.
But
there's a sort of a little bit of a kind of callousness there that's crept in as well, probably because of the fun for the family to live in. That's more a fault of the upbringing,
the way she was treated. Sure,
you know. But basically, kind of thinking as well, when I'm head of the family, I'll just fucking undo all this shit, and nobody had to go through it again. I wouldn't go and try and do away with that, but it's the fact that Maya's had to go through it, and you know, how long are you going to be waiting until you're like running the show here? You know, in the meantime, I'm still stuck here. I still have to. It's an expectation placed upon me, and
it feels like the sister isn't figuring out the same thing. It's like, you could just fuck off. Like they can't force you to live here as the lowest of the low and work your way up the rungs, because Maki's decided to step outside and try and claw her way up. And even like all the teachers in the school is like, we ought to fucking upgrade her to like grade 2 already. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. But the clan keeps blocking it.
He's getting vetoed. Yeah. But
yeah.
So it's funny for Maki to say about my he's like, I'm not a super soldier like you are. I can't fucking put up with this. I know. It's understandable, but it's like it's still kind of hard. It's really good for giving this sense of humanity as well to and as well to the Kyoto school, because when you kind of come in, these are like, you know, the class of all the bad kids. They're all fun as bad kids or bullies, but they have their own things going on and have this respect and affection for their classmates. They display it in different ways to the Tokyo school, say, but you know, it's still genuine nonetheless.
And we get more of that in our Jujutsu stroll, where it's like she's getting up to have some of that edamame that she left in the fridge, and finds the other 2 girls eating it, and they're barely sorry, but they make her their special. Sorry, Miwa, but they make her their special version of pot noodle. Actually, that sounds pretty good.
It's pretty good. You get your pot noodle, you get your cup ramen. You put a little bit of milk in there, up to halfway.
The rest with like boiling hot water, and you snip up a chili.
Put a bit of chili in there, yeah, pretty good. So it's like, this is pretty good. Yeah. Maybe you're gonna be fucking wishing you had it in the morning, though. But enjoy it now.
Hits the spot in the middle of the night, but yeah, it's not a great idea.
Yeah. It's sort of kind of goodly paced, you know. It's kind of like 2, like, you know, good sections to it, and
they both kind of relate to each other plot wise, but like they both have a different feel as fights. It's well done.
Yeah.
Then we've got the part of the double bill I do watch, With a Dog and a Cat. Every Day is Fun, episode 17. In which we get cat. Yes, the dog appears to understand like tone and facial expressions, but she doesn't think it will understand the actual words she says. But she's sure the cat knows human language.
Like, how did you know the treats were in that box? It's like, read the label on it. Let's do a test on it, like poison treats. Just
do not touch.
Yeah.
He made the dog test them.
Yeah, he knocks it on the floor. The dog eats them.
I feel like that was just. I feel like it was more so the cat going like, generally I don't get given treats. I'll knock this on the floor because that's a cat thing. Thinking it was a trap for a different reason. Yeah.
Yes, and then the second part is their attitudes to going to the vet. It's like, for most dogs, going to the vet is a nightmare, but my dog
loves the vet.
Why are you following her around like you're a nurse?
just with a serious look on his face. It's like, hey, Ben, I'm coming with you. Like, no, fucking, he's going into his office. Stop that.
I've also bought this bag of hatred with me. Also, like, the cat loved the bag. No, they can't hurt themselves in there.
Does it put its paw out and slap itself on the head? Or what is actually going on?
It unzips his own bag, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, fun cats do that, they'll do that. They don't get in the shoe boxes or any box, really, if you, like,
it does a little
open the lid, it's just like, and then it's like, try and close it again. This just reminds me of a money box I had when I was a child, actually. With the, like, it'll hang me off the grave to get the coin for you. Ooh.
Dear.
And that's it.
It's great.
Yeah, still great.
Mm.
Then it is Back Arrow episode 5 is today. Yesterday's tomorrow.
No, yes. Tomorrow is yesterday's today. I think. Wait, I might have got the order wrong.
Tomorrow begins tonight.
IKEA. In which, again, this episode I think had the biggest laugh in exactly the same spot as the previous episode.
I think they're timing it at this fucking stage. Yeah, what the hell?
For very similar reasons. So they've got to deal with Kai, who we now learn his surname is Rodan, and I was like, God damn, Perry Rodan reference. And I don't know anything about Perry Rodan apart from its length and it being German, and it being the sort of science fiction thing that 61-year-old men who write anime are likely to slip in as a reference. So I don't know if it has any more bearing than just a little nod with his name. He's pissed off at Shu. How dare he betray their plan? How dare they betray their oath? As we get a bit more background on how they came into the positions they came in, and the long-running feud that the Prime Minister's got with them.
Getting shown up by these young hotshots.
Yeah, from wool villages. They're from the wool tribes, the lowest of the low. The only thing they're good for is being slaves.
Except when they are able to retrieve one of the fallen stars that an entire squad of recovery soldiers couldn't do.
Yeah. And they'd made an oath because Shu had blocked an attack. Well, first of all, Kai had blocked an attack against Shu, and then later on, Shu repaid the debt by taking a blade to the arm, and so Kai cut his own arm, and
as like a fulfillment of the promise. Yeah.
Yes, they'd rise through the ranks and change the country, and so but when he shows up, they get into a fight, but he easily kicks their ass because he's worth 1,000 of the normal soldiers. Yeah, and so Shu convinces the guys to untie him and he'll go and have a word with him, but also, hey, you doctor who suspiciously knows a lot of stuff,
because he understands. It's like, hey, it's like that interface, and he's like, well, I'm glad someone here understands this interface. Maybe our interfaces are based off of this one.
You're a brain. Like, turn the AC on in here.
Yeah.
Yes, I did like that,
because the cowboy people are just kind of like, oh, it's gotten suddenly quite warm in here. This is nice. And your man literally describes it, the suspicious doctor describes it as air conditioning. And it's just like, how the fuck do you know what that is?
So he gets him to back him up in some sort of plan he's got. Basically, so they goes, what about the deal? He pulls out, he like reveals his arm with the scar, and he's like, oh, mine heal.
Like, oh, did you not heal up?
That was years ago. Well, your man did cut his arm like years later, back when he was a general, to fulfill the promise. So it's like, you're kind of the logic of, I guess a childhood scar like that would heal a bit. More so than one you had just like 3 years prior or something.
But basically he's just we wanted to change the country, but now I've met this guy, and with this guy I can change the world. So I'm all in on Back Arrow now.
He's like, this guy can't even kick my ass. Why the fuck are you helping him out?
By the way, if I change the world, that means I'll also change the country, Kai, you're even too small. You got to fucking, expand, man. Visualize, dude. It's like, no, you have none of that. It's like, okay, well, you may what we consider as soon as I pull out these babies right here. Look at artillery on the ship. You're bluffing. That's nothing. Oh yeah. while they're staying back home. General Kai, the walls just blew. There's been a big explosion right here. That's like miles away. How did you do that? Oh, you don't believe me, do you? Fire number 2. There's been a second explosion in the capital. Oh, sure. Wow, what's going on? It's like, and it's like, oh yeah. Well, you could stay around here, and take me on, but if it puts innocent civilians at risk, you probably may want to, go and take care of that, won't you? It's like, damn you, my conviction.
Yes, and so he runs away, and then he reveals to everybody, we got to get out of here quickly, because when he gets back, he's going to figure out that I didn't actually shoot anything. We just blasted hot air out of the cannons, and I set off charges I'd left there earlier before I came.
He's a good boy, really. I do remember our promise. He's just can't fall to them shit like this. Yeah, plus I got the scar,
I just covered it over with tape to.
It was a sword after all. That's only the mark,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's clear like, oh no, he's all of this he'd planned for right from the beginning, which makes sense because we learned like the reason he became the chief diviner is because he created this mathematical and formula for determining where the Kuho would fall,
and it's put them in the lead with gathering them. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, his point is like, yeah, you're now on the back foot because I've blown up a good deal of our infantry, and also you're not going to be able to get that quite so easily anymore because I'm not with you. This battleship is essentially the third power in the world.
I really wonder how many other like bombs that he set. It's going to like pressing the button on that fan. It's going to explode at a very opportune moment.
Like how many other things could he have set up beforehand? Who fucking knows?
I'd say a couple.
Yeah. But yeah, he did. There is the line right at the end where he mentions strategy. I was like, yeah, that's what he's the strategician.
He's the brains. We gotta have a smart person on this boat. He told them very insultingly.
And Bit was annoying again. But I guess he'll have his moment down the line, I'm sure.
Yeah. Maybe, it's just not full of arrogance and self-confidence. If you just saw this dude, he wouldn't decimate all these guys with just like a spear, or not even the spear. And what a handgun is going to do against him, man.
And to be fair to Bit, like at least he is being kind of shitty with his character growth already. Like when he basically was betrayed by your man, is just like, I don't trust this. I don't wildly trust people anymore. That kind of thing. Yeah, so he is growing at least. Yeah. The
village chief seems to be going through the same thing as well, which is harder for him because obviously he's so much older.
Sure.
And I'm sure he'll go through it again when the doctor reveals himself to be something that he's not presented himself to be at the moment.
I kind of hope the doctor's interesting as opposed to I was a baddie all along. That'd be less interesting.
Yeah, I assume he's run away from something else.
Like, what if he's from the same place as Back Arrow kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe he's from from outside the wall, or maybe he's from the pretend France.
I think that's probably more likely. And it probably wants you to think he's from outside the wall because he's so mysterious, but he's probably just
just familiar with the higher tech and shit. Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Because we've still not met everybody on that side. I'm curious how we get them involved more in the story, because clearly they are, because there's two blacked out figures in the opening credits still regarding those people.
I feel like they'll be easier to deal with than the other guys, because like the Queen seems fairly decent. It's just her ministers appear to be assholes.
It's probably because that would be a nice flip.
She wants to talk to this Back Arrow guy so he can tell the troops how to not kill people in Bright Heights. It's just that's like.
Yeah, whereas the fake China is like the Emperor's clearly bad.
Yeah,
the Prime Minister's worse. But you've had our two good guys and their friend who are clearly like they're decent people, even though they're now opposed to each other.
Yeah.
Because obviously them being opposed to each other must also be part of some plan Shu's got. It must be necessary for them to be opposed to each other because he's gone out of his way to make Kai mad at him.
I'm expecting eventually that end sequence will have his buddy also running with him to keep up with the rest of the lads. Like anyone who flips is going to be running with the main squad of the goodies.
Yeah. When they're going right up the middle of the country, you know, so they're probably going to run into everybody from all sides.
Yeah, that's true as well.
So yeah, this is the first time you've talked about it, Niall. How do you find the show?
Yeah, well, maybe because I kind of watched them like a few like end to end, but you do feel this goes at a fucking good clip, a real good clip.
It's very satisfying. It doesn't feel rushed, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna fucking take its time and just fucking spin its wheels at any stage. Yeah.
And I appreciate as well, like, you know, it comes in. The way these robots work is that if you get into one and you lose, you're dead. Except if you fight this dude and you won't die. Which that means like a lot of these kind of like fun villains like the Four Fiends or the fun antagonists of the Four Fiends means they can come back again later on. Don't want to fight him.
And I'm wondering if that's something to do with being convictionless as well. Like basically it's a battle of convictions, and whichever one wins, the other conviction is worse and therefore dies. But he has none, so he's not going to destroy you with that. Could be something.
Because I just recently finished Old Man King Gainer, and might be obviously Bungle as well. Because it's also got robots in it, and it's kind of like this kind of caravan, this kind of motley crew of misfits and ne'er-do-wells are trying to move through this. They're not on any one side of any of this conflict, just trying to get toward this one goal, but they're getting regularly imperiled by robots from this side, robots from this side. And some of them flip over to their side because they see the advantages of it, which is good. But then you see like, oh, this villain it was really fun to fight, you know, and happily don't get killed, and they're going to see him again, and we also become like, you know, too bad. He's like, whoa, you're on camera. Thank you, though. That's toasty. Nice. So like as well, like I suppose to be a more recent example, probably like Gurren Lagann, where a lot of the villains in there,
they're fun.
They went over and joined their side as well afterwards. So it puts me in that mind. I for this back arrow called it's like a bit of a throwback, but a throwback to this kind of way, and that's kind of good because there's a familiar kind of framework that you can recognize there and compare up other things. So that what it's doing differently and more cleverly is a lot more apparent and easier to follow. And it's like, so you don't feel like you're, it's like going over your head essentially. It feels like you're a lot more in on it. People talk in big, in big emotional terms. They literally state their convictions, so you know precisely what their character is about.
This is my characterization.
So then you kind of suss later on. I mean, I fucking fear for the day when I see the Emperor of Rekka get into a Bright, because what's his case bitch like? He rules the entire country. He's going to be like fun to conquer all. That's going to be a tough one to get past. So you kind of extrapolate things that might happen later on. But it's thrown a few swerves our way already, so who's to say?
Then we've got Skate to the Infinity. Episode 5, Passionate Dancing Night, in which we have Langa versus Adam, but Reki is trying to get Langa not to take part, but Langa's got a plan. He thinks he can beat him, and then by halfway through the episode, a bunch of the other lads also think he might be able to beat him.
Well, they all sort of join forces to train him against him, and they have to explain how the trick of the love hug works.
Yes.
It's not that. I like the way they kind of explain it. It's like, oh, once you know the trick, like it's grand, but then your man like throws a punch at his face and he still winces. Like, yeah, even if you see it coming and you know how it works, your body still fucking reacts.
Yes. Especially when he's this like, you know, evil matador dude wearing a scary mask. He's flying at you out of the darkness because you always do this at midnight.
A creep is coming at you on a skateboard. What do you do?
And he's been like waltzing and tangling with you on skateboards down this mountain. That's going to like give yourself self-confidence a bit of a knock, you know?
Yes, it's revealed to be like partially an optical illusion.
That it only works on straight-ways and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not coming at you that fast. It's because you're coming at him fast that it looks like he's coming faster at you.
He's keeping his downhill momentum going uphill, but he wouldn't be keeping it permanently, and because you're coming at him faster. Yeah.
But Langa's convinced he can do it, and then as the race takes part, we learn there's not that big a gap between Adam and Langa in terms of personality.
They're similar, but they seem to be going for different things. Yeah.
Well, but it's the bit where the passionate dancing happens.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the bit where the passionate dancing happens, and he thinks he's trying to
intimidate him. Yeah,
because his first intimidation thing doesn't work when he stops doing the cigarette, and then then eventually notices that Langa is standing right next to him still.
He's like, "Are we fucking going? Come on, let's do it." And he's like, "Apologies, let me not take my smoke break at the start of the race."
I've seen you do that already, man. It's not going to work on me. What do you take me for?
But and he's also like hanging back because he knows like your man wants to keep it a close race. He's like, I'll fucking take it at my fucking speed. And he's making sure like he's not in a position for a love hug on the straights. Is like, and he's like, motherfucker, someone's been talking to you.
Yes, because they point out that yes, Adam's going to be faster. He's better, more technically better. But once they get into the warehouse, then all bets are off, and you have a chance
very free form in there.
But yeah, it's the dancing bit when he's trying to intimidate him the same way he intimidated Reki. And you think that he's doing it from his eyes, but then he glances down and sees Langa's mouth.
Creepy smile.
The creepy grin he's got on his face. And then Langa turns the tables on Adam and starts spinning him around instead.
Like he doesn't like try and back away from it and be like nearly scratching his face on the tarmac. He actually like pulls him in closer. It's like, oh my god.
And then when he tries the love hug on
a corner.
Yes. But then Langa just does a snowboarding leap over the top of him.
It's at that point it's like, wait a minute, you came right at the love hug and did not fucking flinch from it. You just went right through it.
He gets that. Oh,
you're the one. You're the one. He does a little matador dance kind of thing.
Yes.
Vampire eyes. Ooh.
Oh dear.
And then when he's ploughing after him and like grabbing bystanders to take the corners faster. Some great animation and great violence. But then the race ends because the cops are here.
Part of me was thinking like his guy rang the cops.
Oh, he definitely rang the cops.
Like that was implicit, right? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure. I thought it might be the lady who was looking.
Yeah, that's her too. Yeah, that's a good point. Because he was like whistling. It's like, oh, you seem rather happy today, Master. It's like, I got a date later, and she's like,
One lady in the opening credits.
It's got to be at least one lady in this fucking whole show of hot dudes. Come on.
I wonder if that's taking place in the Diet. I wonder if she trying to like bust him for corruption and doing backhand looking deals.
I wonder if she's also a secret skateboarder. That's just me though.
Well, one can only hope.
Yeah.
Yes, because his assistant and him discussed that they thought they'd tampered with the patrols.
Like they'd paid off the cops basically to not patrol this area to find the secret skate ring. So he's like, get me the I was going to say get me the prime minister, get me the chief of police or whatever. It's like, I got a complaint to make.
Yeah, because my initial thing was like, oh, was it Reki called it to save Langa? But I guess he would not have the authority to or the means to. But
also he's a skater. He spent most of his time running away from cops and security guards and shit.
But yeah, basically Langa's left pondering what the weird psychedelic feeling he had as he was pursuing Adam towards the end.
That's definitely a thing they have in common, where they both feel this rush of exposing themselves to danger, I suppose.
Yeah, I think
but obviously Langa is less of a dick about it so far.
Maybe it's feeding it more as well because like it's obviously he's done snowboarding before, but the nature of S, which by the way, what's the first fruit of S? We do not talk about S. Trade Blossom got to go over that again with Reki. But it's also like no fucking careening down a mountain at high speeds. He's also used to that. It's a similar rush than the one he used to. The one he used to have with his old dad. But until that fateful day, which we haven't been made privy to yet.
No. But yes, you're right. The bit don't talk about S, particularly during a calligraphy demonstration in public.
Cherry. It's like, do you know this guy? No. Obviously, this child is heat stroke. I will take him into the shade.
He really likes cherry, so we should get him some cherry ice cream. Cherry.
I love the scene where they all show up at Joe's restaurant, and 4 of them do not know how to behave.
Or a bowl of ramen, please. This is an Italian restaurant.
Yeah. And what Langa wants poutine, and then he's like, dude, it's not that kind of restaurant. I'll get a pizza. And it's like, I mean, like, that would be available here, but it's kind of a classy Italian restaurant, so...
Yeah, but it's like the 3 of them having the grumbling tummies makes Shadow demand 4 bowls of ramen, because it plays out exactly how it would do.
Yeah. He's trying to be the adult by getting all the kids fed, and it's like, not that kind of restaurant. Guys, you can't stop hanging out here. It's supposed to be a secret. We can't hang out here in our civilian identities. Dear.
Yeah, man. In terms of production quality, I think this is the best thing.
It's so good. Like, I keep thinking it's like, it's going to have a bad episode one of the weeks, right? And the next episode is like a beach party episode, and I'm thinking it's like, it's probably going to look really good.
There'll probably just be a quiet one. There might be not much like
True.
There's much why won't be an S event happening around like that because they will not be able to fund this like race after race has been doing these like really fucking crazy movements, fucking especially when the atoms involved when they're fun waltzing and tangoing and spinning around and fucking on skateboards. And it's never, I don't think, ever anything repeated twice, really. Maybe the odd jump or the odd, like, a turn here or there, but Jesus, they're really going for it here. And especially they're really, really want to do it now with these guys' faces really close together as they're doing all this and getting into it.
Then we've got Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Dai, Episode 18, HYUNCKEL versus HADLAR, in which HYUNCKEL fights HADLAR.
How many times can a guy heroically sacrifice himself, huh?
Probably a few more times yet. We get the old double heart trick.
You shot me in my primary heart, but I do have a secondary one. Oh, dear.
Yeah. So many special beam cannons happening in here.
Yeah.
Scry's getting hit there. And Crocodile's like done like the Beast King Anguish Blast, which is things. How about Beast King Redemption Blast? I think
because you're a good guy now. He's a
good guy now. A bit wordy, I think. I don't think it flows as well. Anguish Blast sounds pretty rad. I don't know. But anyways, Crocodile is also there. He's pretty cool. He's up against HADLAR though. I really got to like. I kind of like his get-up. He feels like the villain at the end of the action movie who you've only seen in the suit doing things from the back. But he takes the office suit totally ripped underneath because it's probably like the kind of the white pants, the kind of wheel kind of like capri pants, and also the kind of shitty tribal tattoos he's got going on.
It's
there.
Not a great tattoo.
When he was like getting his body regrown by Stern Vern, I'm not sure those were a good addition, but whatever the boss says goes, I suppose.
I need more intimidation factor. Apparently, being a green man with spiky shoulder pads isn't good enough.
But yeah, Padlar's gotta go out like mano a mile because check it out, HYUNCKEL. He's got fucking that magic proof armor again. It's like magic's all I got though. Also these Wolverine claws, so I have to take him on with these.
They can't cut through anything, but he's like, but magic is like my main thing, so I'm kind of on the back foot here.
It's going a bit back and forth. Does the old I'll do the old play dead trick? Ka-cha! It's me, and I'm gonna pour fire straight into your face. Which I don't know how he fucking survived that. Honestly, poor HYUNCKEL.
He didn't survive it particularly well by the look of it. Yeah.
He's pretty mussed up. He came here ostensibly like, it'll be kind of disingenuous for me to say I'm here to avenge my master because I was really a real dick to him. I'm here to avenge my father. But there's a lesson from his master that he takes to heart. It's like, when you're out of weapons, because you're a warrior, you can't really use a lot of magic. You gotta rely on your fighting spirit, your aura. Check it out, kid. Shazam! Blows a hole in the rock with just his fucking mind bullets. It's like, oh, how do we do it? That's your aura, man. It's a fighting spirit. It's a weapon you're gonna have, and we can rely on in the darkest moment.
Problem is, if you weaponize your life aura and you have a bunch of like, let's call it negative thoughts and feelings and stuff, that'll come out and it could kill you. And as a kid, he's like, I'm not going to use that anymore. I'll just kill him with my sword, because it's like, yeah, he wants to kill his master. But now he's like, well, now my intentions are pure, so I can totally do it without dying. Oh, God, my brain's thinking of like it's not called something like Crossfire Hurricane, but it is something cross.
Grand Cross.
Grand Cross. Killing a bad guy on a crucifix explosion is pretty cool.
Getting whited out. It's getting wiped, completely blown away. HADLAR was going, phew, thank God I'd pulled these two bulky Minotaur dudes into the path of the blast, and I survived it.
It's a good thing I brought minions.
Ooh, that could have hurt. Look at him there now, HYUNCKEL. An empty husk. He's expended all his life force. He couldn't even kill me.
Chop off his head just in case.
It's like, haha, motherfucker, I can play dead too. Whoa, ponytail sword. Yo, what's your other heart, we presume?
I loved all the bits with Crocodile as well, where he kind of shows how he got HYUNCKEL on side with manly speeches of manliness, which is a great thing for a crocodile dude to just keep talking about. I think the power of a man is in this. It's like, dude, you're a crocodile. You can't be saying that the whole time.
So many piccolos in this. It's great.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
The bad guys get flipped over into good guys, and you all fire special beam cannons at each other.
Dear.
And meanwhile, Flazard's just watching this all from the tower, going.
I forgot as well the fucking best. Well, there's lots of best bits.
There's lots of good bits in it.
You get the one great one straight up. It's just HYUNCKEL is there. He survives on the scene. He's got mom in his arms. It's just like,
yeah.
HYUNCKEL, it's you. It's like, that's right, baby, here to save you. I knew you wouldn't. You knew you would let me down. That's right, baby. Shut up. I know it.
Kind of popcorn's like, we gotta get out of here, Mom. Come on, let's go. It's like, shouldn't we help him? He's like, no, he'll be good.
Please. You get some heals over here. Here, have a green herb.
And he's just there stuffing his mouth with fucking leaves. And then later
you're so hunky. More like HYUNCKEL, am I right? It's like, oh man. How would he pop? How would he a nerd?
And as they're kind of running to the tower and they see, like, there's a huge explosion, the two lads are like, that's like the lighted explosion that our master used to explode himself to try and kill the bad guy, so that's probably our boy exploding himself. And it's like, well, it's not necessarily himself exploding himself. Someone else might have exploded themselves at him. And it's like, well, either way, that's pretty bad for him, right? Shouldn't we go check? It's like, no, says Mom. He himself and Crocodile came here to save us, to help us save the princess. So we should save the princess. That's what they wanted us to do.
That's the resolve. We should not dishonor.
Yeah.
The resolve to come here and fight for us. We gotta go kill you. Oh, the third big monster man who's still waiting up there.
He's getting really annoyed because he's like, fuck it, that's two of my towers. What the fuck?
Yes. They can use their magic against me again.
But he's kind of thinking, it's like, well, if the boss gets killed, that means I'm in charge.
All the more glory for me.
I do like his hot and cold personality, literally. It's very fun.
Next week's episode is the final Avon-style technique. But even
fourth
better
move.
is... Episode 20's episode title is called Now Slice Everything.
Another thing that consistently is pretty fucking great.
It's just big, bombastic, boisterous, fun emotions. You can kind of, and anticipate some of the beats, but it's all in the moment. You don't really care. It's just fun. When you get into it, like HYUNCKEL is probably alive. HADLAR is probably still alive as well, even though he probably got it on that sword.
He lost both his hearts. He didn't get my territory heart.
Or something like that, yeah. But as well as like this HADLAR getting his ass handed to him. He's meant to be like, the second in command in this whole operation, formerly the first. But he keeps. I was obviously so arch, and then even now gets overconfident. After all those episodes, he's like living in fear and saying, "No, don't hold back. Send all the boys in after him." But in that moment, in that one moment of hubris, that's what he fucking gets got. I just like that. He gets getting cut down, undermined so many times.
He still feels very fallible as a villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Grand Cross, I think, is what Ichiban's ultimate attack in Yakuza 7 is taken from. So he does it with
he was a fan of the comic as well. Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's straight out of the games anyway. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I obviously didn't level up that high.
It's called Pearly Gates, I think, in the translation. But
that's a pretty cool translation. Yeah.
Then we've got next on the list is Healing Good Precure, episode 43, The King Evolved, Undermined City.
Yeah, they're super boned. They can't even touch King Byogen. Sorry, Neo King Byogen. He's infected the entire city. All these side characters we've seen the whole series are all like, oh no! Even the dog is going. It's everybody's crying. Everybody's calling out humans, elemental spirits. Everything is one crying. And can't even move around. It's going like, achoo! 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 Oh no! It's everywhere. But Mammy shows up, Lady T18 is there. It's like, I'm back. I've come to your aid. It's like, ha ha ha, Lady Queen T18, you've come here before you fully healed. What can you hope to do? So Kia brought back up. How? And we got like the tiger and eye patch with the lion and armor going, growl. And it's up kind of a barrier to prevent any more infection getting out. Asmi gets the girls out there because it's just been wiped out in literally a flick of the finger. King Byogen is just, they're out for the count, depowered, nothing happening. Asmi bails them out and they come up. Now they've bought some time. Might be able to figure out a way to get past it because he's got a shield going too. We've poured it on him, nothing got through. But think of like, you know how you go to school and how you're a student, you go in there and you get let in by the teacher. But let's say me, a flying cat, tries to get in. Not happening. If you hide a flying talking cat in your bag, you get in no problem. So all you need to do is just like try and absorb some of the evil germs of Byogen into us, and we want to get past this barrier, and you're to hit him then. That sounds incredibly dangerous, yeah, but it's the only plan we got. But Shindoin is here. Maybe we can fight her and get her bits and get past it. And then fight her off. She says, so I'm going to serve King Byogen. Those other two losers should be happy to be part of him now. I'm going to show you what for. And gets a new costume, and that's fighting him again. Doesn't look incredible. Shindoin is always kind of like the lamest of the bad guy lieutenants. It's very much like, punching. It's just like, lots of that. I guess you gotta say up for finale. She didn't have much going for her to begin with. In fairness to her, though, to do the 4-on-1 final move, it knocks her down most of the way. But you gotta kill her off like totally. It's like, okay, ask me to like hold her down. I'm gonna do it like again, special beam cannon. I'm fucking big. I'm gonna hold her down, and you three do the 3-on-1 final move, and then that'll like take her off for good. So we got her germ. I can put that in me. We can go inside there and kick his ass. But now we're all up. Here's our plan. Team break. Let's see if we can finish him off this time. I think they probably will because we have
two episodes.
Two episodes to go, if this is right.
Yeah.
So I guess it'll be the big finale next time, and then like the little epilogue following on from that. In which, they'll probably do, even though their job is done, they'll probably still be allowed to visit the human world, or they can go to the healing garden. I suppose the girls will finally go to the healing garden and see what all the fuss is about and meet some cool talking animals there. And they can come and visit whenever they want, I presume. But yeah, let's see if we get any good climatic fighting things going on. And the closer we can get to Tropical Rouge Precure, because I've seen a trailer for that, it looks pretty nice. Of course, they put all the good stuff in the trailer, though. So that's to be expected. But it feels like, this is a production that's, it's had a bit more of a heads up about the conditions that the world is going through right now. So they'll be able to calibrate their work accordingly.
Plan the whole thing a lot better.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's lost about 2 months.
Yeah, at least.
Fuck.
From the list here, 4th of
2
so
months.
the 19th of April, and then it restarted on the 28th of June.
Yeah,
because I think it would have normally started. The next one would have started about a month earlier than it did. So it's probably only lost. About a month and a half of episodes. It's just ended a little later than it would as well. Which is the same thing with Kiramager. And weirdly, Kiramager did the same thing where a henchman took over the main villain's body.
So, like, one person suggested it as a solution in one show, and they started using it in every show to catch up.
Yeah, I think he will keep it because the main villain in Kiramager barely had any personality anyway. And
Right.
Yeah.
You'd built up the smaller villain more.
They built up, it's the brother of the king has stolen it, but the Uren Kiramager's conflicted about wanting to defeat him because he's seen his past and he knows that he's also a artist, but he's a thwarted artist. So I guess they're going to have to try and get through to the innocent buried deep within him and bring him back from the brink and turn him good again. That would have been my guess is what they're going to do in that story. And then it's the 45th Sentai show, which I'm really looking forward to because it appears to be slightly based on the old Ishinomori manga and anime Rainbow Sentai Robin. Because it's it's not a red ranger leading the team, it's a guy in a white uniform with red things, but he looks like it might be pulling powers of the previous 44 Red Rangers.
Okay.
But also the rest of the Sentai are robots.
Oh.
So
okay.
I guess that maybe that's taking COVID into account. If the rest of the cast are all wearing masks all the time, it's less of a risk.
Oh dear.
But yes, Rainbow Sentai Robin is the thing which is suspiciously similar to Metal Men, which started, I think, like a year or half a year before, but would have been coming out while Ishinomori was on his world tour. So I don't know whether he picked up a Metal Man comic and was influenced by it, but it is a suspiciously like one guy with a bunch of variously shaped and sized robots hanging out with him.
If they're all made of different metals, then that's your fucking key.
And yeah, the designs of these robots for this. One's got glasses. It's amazing. Why does a robot need a pair of glasses? He should not need it.
To make him seem more approachable.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the deal is because it looks pretty good. The costume looks so much different from like a typical Sentai hero's costume. It looks more like a Kamen Rider's costume. So it is quite curious. But then we've got the final thing of the week. Kemono Jihen episode 5 Intrusion, in which we meet another member of the team.
He was there the whole time.
Yes, remember that corridor he was told never to open the door of? Well, too late. He's dragged through the door by the person who lives behind that door. I've forgotten his name. I know he's a vampire.
Mihai the vampire.
That's it, yes. I love the introduction we get of him.
I'm loving everything about this character. He's a real piece of shit. He's great.
He is a piece of shit, but he's not a villain. He's just a piece of shit.
I mean, based off the last thing he says in the episode, that's a pretty fucked up thing to say for a good guy.
It is, but at the same time, I just feel like he's doing it because he's bored. Because it's established, like... Yeah, there's all these...
Vampires live forever. They're basically immortal, so they hate idleness. So he's knowledgeable on every subject. He does all my tech. I have fucking I'm just all thumbs when it comes to tech. I can't set up the website or nothing, so he keeps that up. But then he got really into online gaming, so I just locked him in this room.
Yeah, that was it was like the portrayal of him as being like, oh, the vampires are this, they're that, they're this and that. There's all these admirable things. But he got bored, so he came to Japan, and then he got addicted to Japanese online role-playing games.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Because it was something to do constantly. Always grinding, always going on raids. You're good.
Could be learning all these languages. You could be figuring out cures to diseases with this limited.
See, that's the thing. Like this guy's
like
their info guy in the detective agency. It's like, oh, if we need some information, we go to him because he's probably already studied and mastered it, and now he's bored, so he's just grinding online.
Could be finishing a long-running manga series if he has only put his mind to it.
And he loves this new slave. I mean, employee. that you have here. And he's like, you were fucking saying slave, weren't you? He's like, no, I wasn't. He's just really fucking obedient, and he does everything I say. When I say water, he gives me water. When I say blood pack, he gives me blood pack. I'm good. This is great.
It's canned pomegranates.
You're right. He's doing the vampire thing of eating things that look like blood. I forgot. Yeah, yes. Right. I love that as well. That's great.
Donuts are amazing.
So he loves this new kid who does everything he says. And he says, well, he's going to be my servant from now on. So everyone else has to deal. And they're like, no, we can't have that. We got to go on a job. And it's like, all right, I'll arm wrestle you for it. And he's incredibly strong. But
he is, but not as strong as he thought he was, because we learn after the break that he... But the best bit is after they've met him, and Inagami tells them, right, you must never go in that room again. Hard cut to all three of them back in that room again.
Well, it's because our boy Kabane had been ordered to. It's like, well, he said I had to serve him, so I have to serve him. I follow orders to the fucking letter. And the other kids are like, no, dude, we need you to get the fuck out of here.
And that's where we get the arm wrestling. Yeah, and then it's revealed after the break that yes, Kabane had actually broken his wrist.
So now he can't online games, so I'm going to help you out with the jobs. What's the job? Let me just check the emails. Oh, we're taking this job. And it's like, you can't just take the fucking job. It's like, all right, I'll take care of this. Don't worry about it.
And then he locks Inagami in his room.
For the rest of the episode, with like the keypad on it, with a sticky note just saying, is like, if you try and break through, it'll explode. And he's like, oh, god damn it, how do I get out of this thing? I don't know computers.
But he's told the kids that Inagami's off elsewhere on a different part of the case.
Or he's just locked in the cupboard, yeah.
Yeah, so it's this tech company where previously there'd been 16 suicides, there was a load of bad press, but then mysteriously in the past year there's been no suicides and the bad press has disappeared.
They're doing much better now, so...
To investigate what's going on. Well, what's going on is there are 3 mosquito women who are sucking the brains out of the employees.
And keeping them docile, but not killing them.
Yes.
I don't know how they're not killing them, because they're working like zombies all through the night, and they're like, this is really freaky, man. But it's like...
I feel like brains might be like a not ideal translation. It seems like their mind is what they're eating.
I mean, like, it literally shows in explaining it like a picture of a brain. The vampire is doing the man in the chair stuff where by the way, the spider kid has figured out I can wrap myself in my silk and make myself like partially see-through, so he can do the stealth missions and shit.
Optical
optical camouflage like a lot of insects have and stuff. But the vampire guy is coming on the mission through a remote control car that he's using like a wee fucking nunchuck to fucking control by the look of it. But so he's coming on the mission, and anytime the spider kid I get the name right, Shiki is like going not playing his game, basically he starts ramming the car into the wall and making noise on the stealth mission. It's very funny.
They see on the camera that this has happened, and that makes Akira faint. So
Cabana is kind of like, well, there's 3 of them, there's 3 of us, we can take them. And Shiki's like, no, we're gonna come back, regroup, do this fucking sensibly, because Akira's already fucking fainted. I know. Seeing the dude's brains get sucked out, that sucks. Yeah. So we're gonna regroup and figure out how to tactically fucking take this on better. And the vampire guy's like, hey, this kid's like really got like a good head about his shoulders. Like he's really cautious, really careful. That's no fun. So he starts ramming the car into the door that the mosquito women are like hiding behind. He's like, do you hear something? Thump. He's like, yeah, I think I heard something. Thump, thump. It's just like, we should go check that out. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's like, and one of them finds the toy car and stuffs it into her shirt.
Doesn't tell the others now, which is awful.
And it's clear. It's just like, oh, someone's infiltrating. I get to eat them, because they keep saying, whereas it's like one of them's complaining, is like, hey, I want to eat the next guy. It's like, you get the guy tomorrow. It's like, there's no fucking promise that they're going to try and get away tomorrow.
It's like, why can't we eat the CEO's brain? Well, we need the CEO to cover up what we're doing.
Yeah.
I did like the creepy thing of her putting it into a jacket and then like insect legs grabbing it and pull it in.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's a good creepy touch.
Because as human women, they all just like, they have bags under their eyes, but they can turn their entire head into a gross ass mosquito head, and it's just, this is nasty.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, it's very outer limits type stuff of like the big, which is a big influence on Japanese science fiction more than Twilight Zone is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then she finds Shiki, and then Shiki freezes up, but Mihai saves him by electrocuting her through the car, but then realizing, oh, this guy's not as cool and collective as he makes himself out to
like
be.
the kid's literally there struggling to breathe, having a panic attack, and he's like, so he must have suffered some trauma. That'll be fun to play with. It's like, you son of a bitch. Dear.
Yes, it's the thing of he's an asshole because he's doing it to amuse him. He's not necessarily threatening the kids' lives,
but he is delighted that this kid is having a panic attack.
Yes, it's just that because he saves his life by electrocuting the insect woman.
Yeah.
He's just a dick. Is what it is. Just
most vampires dick. Are.
Yeah.
And it's Daisuke Ono doing the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's not really a vampire. He's a Hikimori vampire at this point, which is a gag Yokai Watch does as well, with the vampire bat who lives in the cupboard.
If I get interested, the first case you see him on there as well, he's going to get a different sort of vampire, the mosquito, but there's also sucks blood.
That's definitely, I think, what they're going for. Is like, well, he's better than these guys because all he's doing is doing the vampire obsessive compulsive thing by being into gaming and just being a piece of shit, whereas he's not actually eating people, which is an improvement.
Yeah, like I kind of like when they make that sort of correlation that there are things in nature that suck blood besides bats. Like in Bloodborne, when you get to the obvious vampire castle, you find that rather than to have the ones in the cloaks and the bat wings, they're actually all really freaky mosquito mutant people. Instead, it's like, oh, Castlevania, but it's much more disturbing. There's also like the story there in Uzumaki, the Junji Ito comic, where there was like a ward full of like women. I think it's a maternity ward, and they're all like sucking blood for a start, but they're also like implanting like their babies in other women, like implanting the eggs inside of other bodies. It's really gross.
I figure mosquito mosquito yokai has to be like a regular fucking thing.
Well, if it exists, there's a yokai for it.
That's true as well. Yeah. And they're already freaky enough as animals, so just make them human sized, and that's way worse.
Oh, heavens design team, how to let this one through.
I'm still enjoying this show. It continues to be good. I think it paces itself pretty well. Like the episodes don't feel particularly like stretched out or anything. It feels like they've got enough going on.
There's another plot element that we've not mentioned. Which is the stuff with Con when Kanabe's going out to do.
He's doing because him going down the corridor is like him finding the vampire and him going to the shop to get the shopping. He meets Con living in a park because one's got a new kitsune and she doesn't need her anymore. She's not a good girl.
Oh no!
She doesn't even want Kabane's head anymore either.
And Kabane kind of is like, I love that is a good cut actually when he's just like, oh, it's Con, and he kind of ducks behind the bench, zips up his hoodie past his head. He's like, there you go. And she's like, no, I gave her your head, and she wasn't happy with that. So, I don't know. She's really fucking dumb, and he's kind of thinking to himself, that vampire beat me at arm wrestling, so clearly I'm not that fucking strong. Hey, Con, fight me. And they just immediately start beating the shit out of each other. But he managed to nut her one and set her nose bleeding. He's like, oh, I can't even beat you in a fight. I'm not a good girl. And she starts crying with her nose bleeding and shit. And he's like, oh, I'll hold her hand until she falls asleep into the night. And then she's asleep. And he's like, I got to do the shopping still, though. I should probably wake her up. Hey, Con, wake up. And she says, I can't live with you because you live with a tanuki, and I'm a kitsune. We're natural enemies or whatever. But we could live together. We could just live in this park because I can just eat the sparrows and shit. It's grand. This is great. And he's like, I got chores to do though. I got to get shopping, and but I'll be right back after I do the shopping. And she's like, really, you promise? And he's like, yeah, sure. But then he gets called in on the vampire mission.
Yeah, it definitely feels like with the stuff with her is to make you realize how human the people who live with Inugami are.
Yeah.
They're like humans who have a monster element to them, whereas she feels like a monster who has a human element to them.
Yes.
Oh, she will be like a feral girl wandering around the park eating birds. It might get some attention.
But yeah, it's also like how much she's been abused by the cop lady
definitely.
as well, compared to how even like the aunt and Caliban feel like the aunt did much less of a number on Caliban than what the number that Cons had done to her.
Yeah, like he's kind of fucked up from trauma, but he's mostly like went inward and he's just like a blank fucking robot. Whereas she's just like obsessed with appeasing the adult in the room, basically.
Yeah, she's just like a raw nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's I guess kind of perpetuated as well, because let's say if they were to take somebody then and take them in, they would expect them to be a good child as well, and that's how it keeps going on and on and on.
Well, the person who's been replaced her with appears to be another child.
Yeah, it's a different Kitsune child. He appears to be a different Foxfire guy by the look of it. I was getting like vibes from her, like living in the park. What was that show we were watching with like the homeless girl in it and shit? That was just like it was just like the cute
Hinamatsuri.
Yeah. I wanted to like that show, but it was just plain like tragedy for cute sake, and I didn't like that. And I was like, is this going to go this way? And it's like, no, it's playing this more so for comedy. Here's a feral child. She's she's a feral fox. Let's watch her fight a zombie and how they connect over this. It's a little different. So
but
it's
the
not
pathos is also there. You want to read into it.
It's there for sure, but it's not going to like fucking draw that out as cutesy, you know.
That's Little Match Girl's fault, I think.
It fucking is, for sure.
It's definitely trying to pull on that rather than try to examine this in a meaningful way. Just little fairy tale for you, very maudlin.
Oh, doesn't that make you feel something? I'm not going to do anything about it, but it does make you feel, sure. Yeah. But it wasn't going with that in this. So that was a nice again. There's a lot going on in each episode. So I think I'll continue on with this unless I literally don't have fucking time. I can't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, that Rohan Shibe, Vladlov. Those are the two things which are going to eat my time.
That's the thing.
I follow up with Back Arrow. I think, I could probably do this though again, but now I think, no, if I want monsters, I'll probably go on with watching Vladlov. It's already got vampires in it, so let me go with that. I already know
that is true. As fun as this is, I feel like there's a good chance that Vladlov is going to speak to me more, just because.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm probably technically the target or demographic for it. Probably the target demographic for all of Mamoru Oshie's work at this point.
Yeah.
It's scratching that Kid ROH for me. So that's a good thing as well in its favor.
The good thing about it is it'll always be there, or it should hopefully be there when you do have time for it. Which will probably be never, because we do this every season, and we always find new
next
things
season's
that.
Even worse, though. I could probably take that animals going to space thing off, because the trailer ran for that, and the character designs are nice, the voice is nice, but the animations,
it's not there.
Great.
I don't think it will. It didn't seem like there's nothing in here that suggests to me it's going to be like very amusing.
I mean, exactly. I'm like, it's like, you've sent a CV in the wrong font, a font I don't like at this point for next season in terms of cutting the chaff off. It's like I need to cut those 18 titles down to 6, and I don't know how that's happening. It's down to 17
podcast,
now.
It's the only way.
No. There's some hard choices.
Being real, this is a good way to actually watch things that, and maybe at a rate that I would probably not do 50 my own devices.
That's it.
But you gotta draw a line somewhere.
Exactly.
They can't all be good.
Righty ho. What day next week, Niall?
When shall we three meet? Tuesday, which was the 16th. I shouldn't even need to look at that, because again, this very convenient month. It just does a lot for me. Yeah.
Righty ho. That is moving the calendar, and then we'll say goodbye to the viewers and the listeners. We'll be back next week on Tuesday with more of the same.
Lots more. Lots.
Yeah, I don't think Vladlov starts yet, and Rohan doesn't start, so I think we're safe for not to cut anything out.
What does start next week that I need to keep an
eye on? Nothing. That's it. I think we're good.
Okay.
Don't panic.
I think we're good. I'll let you know if Vladlov does start, but that's on Crunchyroll, so at least it won't be difficult to find.
Yeah.
And it may just be the same first episode we've already seen.
There's
Because
that.
remember, that was a
spare me
special
some-
airing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it's on Crunchyroll, I find it you can watch it on the telly. It's already there. I turned the console on to turn on the thing and go to it. It's very easy. It's like, well, it's going to just go like 2 buttons and it's on again. Okay.
Yeah.
It's more conducive.
Righty ho. We'll be back next week then. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.